Across the United States, a terrifying scene unfolds with increasing regularity. Wildfires, once a seasonal occurrence, now rage with unprecedented ferocity, transforming vast landscapes into charred wastelands. The frequency and intensity of these fires have escalated dramatically over the past decade, leaving scientists and citizens alike grappling with the new normal. Wildfires, once a seasonal occurrence, now rage with unprecedented ferocity, transforming vast landscapes into charred wastelands. The reasons behind this surge are multifaceted. Climate change, with its rising temperatures and prolonged droughts, has created a tinderbox environment. Human activities such as land development and deforestation have further exacerbated the situation, making it easier for fires to start and spread. From the rolling hills of California to the grasslands of the Midwest, no region is immune to the devastating power of these infernos. In California, the fire season now stretches almost year-round, with blazes igniting even in the winter months. The Midwest, traditionally less prone to wildfires, has seen an alarming increase in fire incidents, driven by dry conditions and strong winds. Millions of acres have been consumed, leaving behind a trail of destruction that extends far beyond the fire lines. The aftermath of these fires is a stark reminder of their destructive power. Entire ecosystems are wiped out, with wildlife losing their habitats and food sources. The soil, scorched and barren, struggles to recover, leading to increased erosion and the loss of fertile land. The impact on human lives, property, and the environment is staggering, demanding our urgent attention and action. Communities are displaced, with thousands of people losing their homes and livelihoods. The economic cost runs into billions of dollars, with the rebuilding process taking years. The emotional toll on those affected is immeasurable, as they grapple with the loss of their homes, memories, and sense of security. The year is 2025, and already, the headlines scream of yet another worst fire season on record. Each year seems to bring a new record, with fires burning hotter, faster, and more unpredictably than ever before. The news is filled with stories of heroism and tragedy, as firefighters battle the blazes and communities come together to support those affected. Images of towering flames devouring homes and businesses, forcing families to flee for their lives, have become all too familiar. The sight of firefighters risking their lives to protect communities is both inspiring and heart-wrenching. These brave men and women work tirelessly, often with limited resources, to contain the fires and prevent further devastation. The air we breathe is thick with smoke, carrying with it the acrid smell of burning forests and shattered dreams. The health impacts of this smoke are significant, with respiratory issues and other health problems on the rise. The environmental impact is equally concerning, as the carbon released from these fires contributes to the very climate change that is fueling them. As we witness the relentless march of these fires, one question looms large. What is fueling this inferno, and what can we do to stop it? The answers lie in a combination of better forest management, increased funding for firefighting efforts, and a concerted effort to address climate change. It is a daunting challenge, but one that we must face head-on if we are to protect our planet and future generations. Wildfires are a natural part of many ecosystems, playing a crucial role in forest regeneration. They help clear out dead and decaying matter, making way for new growth. This process is essential for maintaining the health and diversity of many forested areas. In fact, some plant species have evolved to rely on fire for their seeds to germinate. Without periodic fires, these ecosystems would not thrive as they do. And nutrient cycling. However, the scale and intensity of the fires we are experiencing today are far from natural. These modern wildfires are often larger, more intense, and more destructive than those in the past. This shift is due to a combination of natural and human-induced factors that have altered the landscape and climate. A complex interplay of factors is contributing to this crisis, with climate change emerging as a primary driver. The increase in global temperatures has led to longer and more severe droughts, which dry out vegetation and make it more flammable. Additionally, changes in precipitation patterns have resulted in less frequent but more intense rainfall, which can lead to rapid vegetation growth followed by dry periods that create ample fuel for fires. Rising global temperatures are creating hotter, drier conditions, turning forests and grasslands into tinderboxes primed to ignite. These conditions are exacerbated by prolonged heat waves and reduced humidity, which further dry out the landscape. As a result, even a small spark can quickly escalate into a massive wildfire. Human activities further exacerbate the problem. Unintentional fires, often sparked by downed power lines, discarded cigarettes or equipment malfunctions, account for a significant portion of wildfires. These incidents are particularly common in areas where human development encroaches on wildlands. The presence of infrastructure, such as power lines and roads, increases the likelihood of accidental ignitions. Intentional acts of arson also contribute to the problem, though to a lesser extent. While less common, these deliberate fires can be particularly devastating as they are often set in areas where they can cause the most damage. The motivations behind arson can vary, from personal vendettas to attempts to clear land for development. As human populations expand into fire-prone areas, the risk of human-caused ignitions increases, creating a dangerous feedback loop. The development of homes and communities in these regions not only raises the risk of fires, but also puts more lives and property at risk when fires do occur. This expansion into wildland areas is driven by a variety of factors, including the desire for scenic views and the availability of affordable land. Decades of fire suppression policies, while well-intentioned, have also contributed to the problem by allowing fuel loads to accumulate, making forests more susceptible to large, intense fires. These policies were initially implemented to protect lives and property, but they have had the unintended consequence of creating forests that are densely packed with flammable material. Controlled burns and other forest management practices are now being reintroduced to help reduce these fuel loads and mitigate the risk of catastrophic wildfires. Once ignited, wildfires can spread at an alarming rate, driven by a combination of factors including wind, topography, and fuel availability. These fires can start from a single spark, whether from a lightning strike, a campfire left unattended, or even a discarded cigarette. The initial ignition is just the beginning of a potentially devastating chain reaction. Strong winds can carry embers miles ahead of the main fire front, igniting new spot fires and creating a chaotic and unpredictable situation for firefighters. These embers, often called firebrands, can land on dry vegetation or structures, causing multiple fires to start simultaneously. This phenomenon makes it incredibly difficult for firefighting teams to contain the blaze, as they must constantly shift their focus to new hotspots. Steep slopes can accelerate the spread of fire, as heat rises and preheats fuels upslope, creating a chimney effect. This effect can cause the fire to race uphill with alarming speed, consuming everything in its path. The steeper the slope, the faster the fire can travel, making mountainous regions particularly vulnerable to rapid wildfire spread. The type and density of vegetation also play a crucial role in fire behavior. Different plants have varying levels of flammability. For instance, dense shrubbery and forests with a lot of underbrush can act as kindling, allowing the fire to spread more quickly. In contrast, areas with sparse vegetation may slow the fire's progress, but they are not immune to ignition. Dry grasses and shrubs provide readily available fuel, allowing fires to spread quickly across the landscape. These types of vegetation can ignite easily and burn rapidly, acting as a catalyst for the fire to move swiftly. In regions experiencing prolonged drought, the lack of moisture in the vegetation makes it even more susceptible to catching fire. Dense forests, while slower to ignite, can support intense crown fires that burn through the canopy, releasing enormous amounts of energy and generating powerful updrafts that can create their own weather patterns. These crown fires are particularly dangerous because they can leap from treetop to treetop, spreading the fire over large areas very quickly. The intense heat and energy released can also lead to the formation of firestorms, which are extremely difficult to control. These factors, combined with the increasing frequency of extreme weather events, such as droughts and heat waves, create a perfect storm for rapid wildfire spread. Climate change has exacerbated these conditions, leading to longer fire seasons and more intense fires. As global temperatures rise, the likelihood of extreme weather events increases, making it more challenging to predict and manage wildfires. The combination of dry conditions, high winds, and abundant fuel creates an environment where wildfires can thrive and spread with terrifying speed. The environmental consequences of these megafires are far-reaching and profound. Forests, once teeming with life, are reduced to desolate landscapes, stripped bare of vegetation and wildlife. Animals are forced to flee their homes, often perishing in the flames or succumbing to smoke inhalation or starvation in the aftermath. The loss of habitat can have cascading effects on entire ecosystems, disrupting food chains and ecological balances that have evolved over millennia. The impact on air quality is equally alarming. Wildfires release massive amounts of smoke and particulate matter into the atmosphere, creating hazardous breathing conditions for millions of people, particularly those with respiratory problems. These pollutants can travel long distances, impacting air quality in cities and towns far from the fire lines. The release of greenhouse gases from burning forests further exacerbates climate change, creating a vicious cycle that fuels more extreme weather events and wildfires.